Ooh, yeah. I've mentioned the car magazine before in videos, and I had a talk. Somebody was asking me about it today. You know what I did with it. Um, like I had, the car magazine was about imported cars. I mean, here in Canada, we had imported. Everything is imported, first of all. But we had domestics. You know, the Ford GM thing, Dodge, and then we had all the Japanese cars and European cars. And during the time that we were growing up and driving, the best cars, like through the 80s, that we could buy, cheap secondhand cars growing up, were cars in the 80s, and all the new cars in the in the 90s. All the good cars were Japanese and European. Very, very, very few fun, exciting cars came from the domestics. They were all ugly. They were all not fuel efficient. They were all looked like junk after a couple of years, or were junk because we are buying them used. So we all had this, you know, enthusiasm for import cars. The Japanese were reliable and cheap to run, cheap on gas. The Europeans drove fantastic, and they were always good looking, and they were expensive to maintain, but they were worth the drive. They were worth the own. So they bantered around. I didn't know it, but a couple of them got together and put together this idea. They actually did a mock up of a magazine, and they had a name for it. They had a look for it, and I sat down with one of my buddies, and he showed me this. Hey, like I was working me and this, and we kind of sat down. And we sort of worked on this, and I've been working on this part of it on my own, and it's just kind of it's just an idea, creative idea that we thought, it'd be fun to do. And I looked at it and I was like, that's really cool, and I get what's going on here. And so I was like, you know what? I like cars. I've got some money, and well, let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. Now, I wasn't involved in car culture in the city that I was in. I didn't know. I didn't go to car meets. I didn't get involved with car people or anything like that. I just had fun with my group of friends with our cars, and we had our own little group of people that we did cars with, talked about cars with. Tuning was becoming a thing. I think it was before Fast and Furious came out, of course, or maybe at the same time. I don't know. I didn't watch any of that stuff. I thought it was. I didn't. I never saw it, but I thought it was just junk. I didn't want outside influence. I'll say that. I mean, Top Gear was running. I never watched Top Gear. I did watch some Canadian car shows, sort of thing. I was just interested in cars, and I was really interested in European cars. And that's what happened. I just did it, and I found, okay, well, I need pictures. Well, we got to get pictures of cars. So I started figuring out how to get pictures of cars. And I thought, you know what? Cars and models. We need cars and models, but we're not going to do slutty stuff. We'll do classy stuff. So we need models. So we did some model searches, model hunts, got some models, and did some deals with clothing stores so that the models had clothes and they could buy them if they wanted, and sort of thing. They would sponsor that part of and then we'd go do these photo shoots with models, and I'd go to the dealership and say, hey, just starting a car magazine. You guys want to do a photo shoot? We'll get some girls in, take some pictures. And they were like, yeah. Word got around. I got to be the guy who brought the girls to the dealership. So these dealerships, when I phoned up, were like, yeah, absolutely, yeah, come, yeah, come. Eye candy for, whoever the salespeople come in for a day, do a shoot, and then publish it. And it was fun. What really excited me about the doing the magazine wasn't doing the magazine. It was meeting all the car people because there was a hidden culture for me, this underlying hidden culture, car culture of the city I was growing up in. Like I saw the odd, supercar, the odd fantastic car, poster cars, right? But I didn't know how many there were until I started that magazine and how many people owned these kinds of cars. So I started getting involved with the Porsche Club, the Exotics Car Club, you know, and it was eye opening. And once we started talking about the magazine and what we were doing and that kind of thing, then people were starting to ask us, "Hey, you guys do got a car magazine? My doctor did this to us. So you guys got to do in a car magazine now." And he's like, "Yeah, how do you know about that?" "Well, I heard from this guy, I heard from this guy, I heard from this guy." He's like, "I like cars." "Oh yeah, cool." And I'm thinking, my idea that I thought there would be, at the very least, I thought there would be like baby boomers or people coming into retirement that had a car project on the go, and it would be some old Italian car, some old French car, something like that. You got the boomers doing the big hot rods and the old '50s cars and stuff like that, right? But then you had other people. Like, it was a very diverse city I came from lots of nationalities, and there were a lot of people with European cars that kept them going, like the old Citroens and stuff like that. And I thought that's what I would be finding, were these little one-off things in people's garages that they've been polishing that they don't let people to see, sort of thing. They don't take them to car shows because the weather sucks and the roads are terrible. But my doctor said, yeah, he approached us when my wife was in there for an appointment or something like that. And he's like, "I like cars." Said, "Oh, what kind of cars?" "Oh yeah, what kind of cars do you like?" He's like, "Well, I collect Ferraris." I was like, "Okay, cool. You want to chat about them? And we'll come over, we'll take some pictures, that kind of thing." And that's exactly what happened. Go over there, bring a camera, talk with them about it. That's really all that happens. How many people just love talking about cars? These guys don't collect the cars. I don't know why they don't collect the cars because of what they are. You know, yes, but really what it is they want to tell the story. They want to talk about the cars. It's not just having them. Like the tire warehouse guy had a fleet of Lamborghinis. You know, I'd walk into people's garages on their acreage or whatever, and they would have lined up Ferraris. They'd have lined up, you know, like I said, Lamborghinis. Stuff that we would never see on the road. They go, "No, you can't take them out here. The roads are terrible. We would take them for a run to the store," stuff like that. But they just wanted to stand there for 4 hours and talk about the cars, how they got it, how it drives, the story behind looking for it, you know, this versus that, the options I had to, you know, at the time I got into this money, blah blah blah, and this and that. I was with the Porsche Club, and the two brothers showed up at the second autocross we were at, and they made their money doing payday loans in the States. And they used to have Porsches, they sold them all, and they went to go make money down in the States. They made their money, they came back, and so they wanted to buy Porsches again. So they were with the Porsche Club again. And he had his 911. I think he bought the Carrera S. He goes, "But this isn't the car." He's like, "I just wanted to get my car, Porsche, back because I love Porsches." He goes, "But what I am doing is I'm getting a Tesla ordered." This is way back um, when Teslas were Lotuses. The Lotus shell and the first electric Teslas were, well, yeah, they were just that tiny little Lotus that they had out at the time. Really nice, beautiful car. And that's what it was. He made a couple of YouTube videos on it, but he wanted to tell the story of the first electric car and how fast and speedy it is, and how the charging time works, and how fun and weird of a unique of a car it was. I gotta move up here. The sun is bad, and you know, and I found that to be with everything about cars. We did the Powerama thing. We did the Edmonton Grand Prix. I think it was only 1 or 2 years that did that before it was bought out by Indy or whatever. But walking around the paddocks and talking with people about their stock car, CAS cars, right? And the people just want to tell a story. People just wanted to tell their story and talk to another car person that understood what they were talking about, you know? And I thought the magazine was a great platform for that. You know, a buddy that collected Lotuses, the 99 or less 999 club, where the cars had to be under a liter, and but they made an exception for the 2CV. That was they were that was the bigger engine, but that was allowed in the quirky car club because it was this tiny small car club, and those cars were unique. And those guys just wanted to talk about their cars. They want to talk about how they get them, how they maintain them, and how the car came to be, and how you know. And the magazine was perfect, perfect platform for that. Got to meet so many interesting people, and this hidden car culture that is where I was living at the time. Because you start talking car stuff like this with people, and like the brain shuts off. It's like talking to somebody about quilting or knitting or you know rubber bands, how you engineer cardboard boxes. Only you get it, and only somebody else who does it gets it. And people were excited. People were excited for the magazine. People were on board with it. People were telling other people about it, and it was amazing because I absolute nothing, no clue, didn't know a person with a car. I really didn't know a person with a cool car. I was cold calling, I was going to dealerships, and then all of a sudden it all came to fruition. And yeah, then the divorce happened. Enough of that. But yeah, that's why that's why I started to, that's why I thought I'd do this channel. This is terrible. That's why I wanted to do this channel. I wanted to be able to talk about cars because I remember that about the car magazine. People wanted to talk about their cars. Like I won't shut up about this stupid Hornet because I love it. It is. I love the story of how I got it. I love the story of how it came to fruition. It was a total disaster. I love the launch because it was a disaster. You know, I love going to the dealership and they don't know how to reset the oil on it, and I got to tell them because I learned it on the forum with a bunch of other people who were talking about cars. You know, it's interesting. It's fun to talk about. It's fun to do. Car culture. That's what this channel is about. Ryan and cars. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Ask your neighbors. And when that guy's polishing his car out in the driveway that you pass by once in a blue moon and you see it, stop and talk with him. Because I've done that. I would drive down the street and some guy would be, and I'd go, that's interesting. I want to go talk to him. And just say, what is this? It's beautiful. I don't know what this is. And you just make a friend. You'll start talking about it. And he'll invite you to the next car show. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, see you on the next one.